So let's begin. This is the best Symmetra skin, if I may say so myself. Although I do like a vampire. And Oasis, I believe is the other one. So, I mean, you can exit any way you want, but... Sorry, I don't know what that noise was about. Oh, I guess I just gained ultimate in my game. But anyways, this might be a bit confusing, this map right now. So this is where you start. You're ready to go at this door. This is the main door, and over here is like the top door. And going here doesn't benefit you too much, because what you'd like to do is you want to get like a good position to attack their team. And so for me personally, I would take the top, and then you could teleport it to this bridge, which would quickly get everyone on your team. I mean, ideally everyone on your team into this little room here, and then you're like the enemy will be either here or up here, and you're in that big shipping crate already behind them. So they really have nowhere to go other than further away or back to your spawn where you can continue to attack, and as your team dies, you'll come in and you kind of pincer them. But most likely you'll just destroy them if your team is coordinated. I mean, this is not always applicable when it's in bronze or just any rank, like even wherever you might be, not to insult bronze, but yeah. But going out this way is fine, because, I mean, you can do whatever. You can go over here, teleport it here. Who knows? Whoops. I opened up a game client because I want to show you a few things as well. But let's actually watch you play. Good spray as well. I feel like it's... I don't know. She's just lovely in it. So one thing you want to do is, like, your turrets are really the biggest part of your, not the biggest, but a huge part of your, what makes Symmetra good. And what you want to do is put them in places where the enemy is just going to run into blindly. And sure, this would be a place where you completely blindside them, but you have to be thinking, why is an enemy running all this way right into this corner where there's, you know, 3 of us? No one should be doing that. Like, they're going to stay over there. So you got to think, what are some good locations? And if you are going to play this low ground, which I know you do because I've seen, you could either go the back of this, up on this bridge here, because it'll shoot down from them. Or this is something that I was hesitant to do when they made the switch, because I was like, well, it's just a gimmick and it doesn't like actually work, but trust me, it really does the entire way through bronze to diamond. So you can put them on the floor and then use your teleporter, which I messed up. I always mess that up, unfortunately. But give me 6 seconds to actually show you what I mean. So yeah, ideally a little further than that, but this will put the teleporters just in range, and this teleporter is going to go down before you can. But what a lot of people do is, you know, they try to shoot the turrets down, and that teleporter acts as a shield because the teleporter is 300 HP, so they have to destroy the teleporter before they can even hit the turrets. So it's doing quite a bit of damage unexpectedly, and most people don't actually know how to deal with it. So that's the third option, but I think just setting up in locations like this would be good too. I mean, here where you did set up, no one ever went, and it was just a waste. Oh, this is the worst thing I feel about your Symmetra play is your shooting. So each bullet there is doing 20 damage. If you fully charge it, that's 120 damage. It's 6 times the amount of damage, and definitely not 6 times slower, so it's completely worth it. And I mean, you should be doing that at the very least, is fully charging. But actually, because like I said, it does 120 damage, what you want to do is release it slightly before and average like 100 damage, because you only need to hit, I mean, you have to hit someone twice to kill them, right? So if you can do 100 and 100, it comes out faster than 120 and 120 would. Plus, like with this strategy that you're doing it slightly before just creates more orbs. They're smaller, which is harder to actually visually see, and will just land you a lot more hits. But yeah, this is, I would never ever do this. Like, this has no benefit at all. So either this or this. These are like the only two modes you want to be doing. And there's, I'll save it for later when it comes more relevant, but that's definitely how you want to fire if you're going to be using your secondary fire, which you should. So that was 20 damage. So you got a kill, but that was just complete fluke. This is another thing. You have no like bullet awareness. So you can see, I pointed with my actual hand, I don't know what I was thinking. You can see up here in the top left, that is a Symmetra orb. And you did not see it travel from anywhere, so it can only be coming from up top left on this ledge. It's a bit hard to determine that, but eventually you can see the full beam coming down, and you never once look over. And with Bastion, a lot of people obviously hate Bastion because he just destroys everyone. But Symmetra is actually pretty good against him. Not pretty good, but doesn't get destroyed by him. So he's like here or whatever, right? So what you can do, because you have like the slowest projectile in the game, but he's not moving, so it doesn't really matter there, because you can just do this, right? And that's another reason you want to be using charged shots, is because, you know, he's going to destroy you if you just actually stood here and standing still. But if you're here charging, right? Like there's no time for him to hit you while you're doing 120 damage, 100 damage, somewhere in between to him with every shot. But yeah. I don't know whatever happened to that Bastion. I feel like I never see him the rest of the game. Oh, he's behind you. So yeah, like, I don't know if you're playing without sound. Like, I don't mean to be offensive, but you definitely need to just be listening while you play, because especially to the Bastion, like that clanking steps that he's making here, right here, that's the most like dangerous sound in the game, and I can tell it's behind you. And I mean, he starts mowing you for a solid, I mean, you can even see his shadow. But yeah, that was like a 4-second reaction time, and it needs to be like 8 times faster than that, honestly. And this, so things are going well. I mean, not really, your team is dying, but Symmetra, she's like the slowest character to kind of set up. Like maybe Bastion and Torbjorn are slower, but she's a very slow character to set up. So you need to be, when there's this free time and your team is like moving the card or whatever, the enemy team's just gone, you need to be proactive and set up your defenses, because you can't just fire a turret at this time, because like the enemy will shoot it, right? So what you need to be thinking is, so this is their spawn, right? They're going to be coming from here. There's 4 possible places they can go: over there, over there, over there, and over there. Realistically, no one will ever come out this one. maybe a Widowmaker, but there's possibly this one, and like 80% of the time this one. So while they're all dead and your team's pushing the cart, like, you know, it's over here, you want to be setting up a trap. So you might not have time for it, right? But just like that. And so they're just going to be running, right? And then they're just going to get melted, and they'll probably die, but they might get one, right? You also want to not stack them, right? Because the first place they look, you don't want them to be able to see all three. I mean, it's a tight corner, so they're probably going to see most of them. But yeah, you got to set that up. Or if you don't want to like fully commit to that, you can set one there as well, right? But yeah, you definitely need to be ahead of everyone else if you're going to be a good Symmetra. Oh, and I mean, just to go with your secondary fire, most times you just want to be shooting because, you know, this takes 2 seconds to charge. So if you actually see someone, you want to already have it like charged, right? You don't want to just be like, you see someone and then you got to charge and shoot. You want to see someone and already have 120 just ready to whale them. So like when that hog hooks the diva here, if you were just already holding it, you could just fire it at her, right? And you might think, oh, it's a waste of ammo, but your reload time's pretty quick. It's not like it's Orisa or something where it's another 2 seconds. So that's another thing. However, to attack diva specifically, okay, I don't know if you know, or if it was just coincidence, but her defense matrix will eat your orbs, but your primary fire, the beam, will go through her defense matrix. So attack her with this whenever she's in range. Because not only will it actually damage her compared to the beams, but most divas, or yeah, divas in general just aren't prepared for someone to actually be able to damage them through their defense matrix. So they're just taking more damage than they're expecting, and then it kind of like messes them up, I feel. And yeah, that's like the exception for diva. I mean, not the exception, you should still use primary fire, of course, but especially with her. And again, there's a beam tasering you from behind. You can see it running right from behind your head. You need to be able to react to that. And you've still not noticed her. Now, with a Widow, this Widow was, I mean, I didn't really watch her, but she seemed to be quite good. I honestly don't think she was a bronze player. Like, she might have been a Smurf. But anyways, so you're here with the cart, which I don't have to actually show you, but you want to just throw turrets up, because she's not great at dealing with them. I mean, she can one-shot them, of course, but she's going to be like, if I was up here, she's going to be like zoomed into her scope, so it's going to be like, she's not really going to notice them floating, and then once they're attacking her, it's just going to be something that she doesn't really want to deal with. And she might panic, right? She is fragile, so she might jump down or whatever. But yeah. And turrets, like just as a general hero anyone can do, turrets have 30 HP. So like this is too high, but the one on your screen is like right here in front of you. You can just punch it, that does 30 damage, that will destroy a turret. It'll destroy 3 turrets. It's just always punch if they're there, as opposed to like, you do this, you just shoot it, right? But no, just punch, or at the very least, use your secondary fire, because doing this, like it's called cleave, where you hit like multiple enemies with it. This will just hit one target, and then the next target, then the next target once it's destroyed. Where this will do like 120, but then there's splash damage, which will also destroy the other turrets. And this will just go through everyone and do 30 damage to everything it hits. So yeah, trying to destroy turrets with your primary fire is not the way to go. And yeah, that Symmetra has been alive in the middle of enemy lines for a little too long. This is just something you should always be doing as well. Your teleporter is just faster than walking, right? So whenever you're coming back from spawn, just use it, right? There's no point in wasting your time walking. Just come out, and away you go, right? You're a little quicker. It save you 2 seconds or something. And it might not seem like a lot, but it is. Like, you know, lots can happen in 2 seconds. And it could help your Hanzo. Again, just punch the turrets, but... Another thing I'll show you, it's not the easiest thing to make, but you can jump this gap, right? And I mean, lots of people mess it up, like I even see pro players messing it up. So, I mean, this is fine, but it's not impossible, right? This is another sound cue thing. I mean, one, you should just be kind of thinking where our hero is going to be. So you know that the Widowmaker was up here when she killed you, but then when she used her ultimate just now, you heard that little French line. You could definitely hear she's like right here, right? Probably like standing right here. So this is what I said earlier about a little Symmetra technique. You throw all your turrets down, and she's shredded. There's no way she's living that. So that kills her, plus it puts you just on this spot, which is, I think, better than where you were, because over here is kind of where the enemy expects you to be, right? They're going to see you, that soldier ulting here is going to be able to kill you. Where if you're here, I mean, you can just shoot down like you were, but from just an angle they're not going to really look at. I mean, they will look at you too, but it's just a little bit more tactical. And now that you've killed the Widowmaker, ideally, she's not going to be here to flank and just blast your head off, right? You can feel safe for another like 20 seconds until she gets back. I think that's a good turret, ignoring the teleporter trick I just showed you. I think that's like, you know, Widow didn't really do anything to deal with it. Now that you've claimed this point, right? You know, your spawn's right over here. There's a... I mean, it's always good to be safe, but you don't need to be as safe right now. Like, I would have just jumped down and started trying, because if you can trade 1 for 1, they have to waste like 40 seconds getting all the way back here. You have to waste like 15 seconds coming back here. So it's still a win, right? So yeah, right after you capture a point, I would be a little more aggressive than maybe normal. Like before you guys captured, staying up here or staying over there is like a great decision. But not anymore. Just kidding. And this is the beauty of Symmetra, though. So just wait for my teleporter to come off cooldown. So this is like my favorite thing to do. So you're being a pest, right? That diva notices you. As soon as you see her look up at you, like she already is here, right? what you do is just teleport her. You wait for her to like get right into your face, right? And then you teleport her as soon as she's like right here. You just get out of there. And now she has no cooldown. Her gun is so weak. And you're laughing. You're just chuckling to yourself. But yeah, if you're not going to do the teleporter, definitely just jump down like this. Stick with your team. And this is something I don't think you're aware of. I can't unfortunately show you because I don't have an enemy. But Symmetra's primary fire, if it's against the shield, which Symmetra's giant barrier is, you didn't have time to hit it anyways. But hitting it will recharge your ammo, not deplete it, right? So you have infinite ammo shooting a shield, and it also increases the damage, and it just wears down shields. So if you ever see a shield, which I briefly saw on defense, the enemy has a Reinhardt and an Orisa, that's like a dream come true for you. You want to play a little more forward, and just like pretty much play the whole game just holding left click, because you will never run out of ammo until they're dead. But yeah. Anyways. So whatever, you alt here. But this is like when you want to be charging your right click, and then as soon as you come around, you can just start firing some shots. And this is something, I don't know, I've never really had a problem with, but I always hear people complain, or not complain, but mention it for people that struggle with aim. It's where you're looking. So you want to be looking where the enemy's going to be, right? And they're not going to be here on the ground. They're going to be like here. So you should be looking like another, I don't know what to quantify it as, because you probably have a different monitor size than me, but like another 2 inches up, and just ready to fire if anyone's there, right? Even if no one's there, someone might be there by the time your projectile gets there. So you're just staring at your feet. You have no time to really react. And yeah, the less you actually have to move your crosshair to hit someone, the quicker you'll be able to hit them accurately, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to switch. But here you see you're kind of looking too low. You're staring at feet. And I guess it's probably maybe just because you were, this face, maybe because you were wanting to line up your ultimate. But yeah, I haven't really noticed it, but it's definitely something you should be thinking about, is where is your crosshair, just in general. Not a great ultimate, I know my friend also mentioned, but especially with a Widow, what you kind of want to do, well, I'm going to just do it over here because I still have the door up, is intersect it like that. So you know the Widow's over there, right? So you can like straddle it here, and if someone, you know, they're all trying to shoot you here, but if someone comes over the shield to actually shoot you, you can just go back, right? And it makes you quite a difficult girl to hit. In the end, it wouldn't have really mattered. Most of your team was dead here. You can see it's 4 versus 1, 4 versus 2. 5 though, if you consider the Widow. So the ultimate probably wasn't gonna be a game changer, no matter which direction you faced it. So you could see there, this Widow was just doing it. She was charging her gun off your shield, and that's why she did so much damage to you compared to you to her. Who knows, maybe your ultimate was the reason they did so well, because I guess their entire team is dead. Again, you really need to listen. There's definitely a diva right over here. You can kind of see her as well, but these sound cues are very distinctive. And even if you don't hear, look at what your team's doing, right? This Hanzo looks to the right there, right? If you see him do something, you can kind of assume there's someone there. But yeah, I mentioned this earlier. You won't have enough time, but like your team is pushing, you have free time, so yeah, get up here like you were. Okay, let's restart that. Create game. La 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 la. Actually, I probably should have just gone to the blue team. So that way I'm right beside you. But yeah, this is where I was talking about the beginning of the game. You want to like TP up to there, and that way your team has this high ground advantage where they can just kind of attack, but regardless. So yeah, while your team is pushing the cart, what you want to be doing is moving it ahead while it's still safe and setting traps. Again, think of where the enemy can come from. There's here, here, and here. All three are, I'd say they're actually pretty even, so it's a little hard to predict. But it's like you might want with that. No, everyone does it. With that information, you might think you want to set all three, but I would just kind of, I don't know. What you have to, like, people without mobility, like Orisa, I don't even know. They don't think they have an Orisa, but like tanks, I feel like come through this area. This is like a backup option when things are failing. And this is where the high mobility, like Soldier and Widowmaker, are going to come through. So you don't really want to bother with this door because Orisa's just going to survive it. But here's like where they're going to come from more likely, like the people you can actually kill with your turrets before they can react. That said, like your team kind of killed them all way at this big door, so you probably don't actually even have time to get all the way over here. So you kind of have to figure out where can you get. So this door is probably safe. And then I would just set one up here or something, right? So that way no one can really get up here to contest you. I mean, Widow, I think she sets up here anyways. But that way you've kind of shut down a main avenue, and here's just some additional damage when the team starts to contest. And that's kind of the thing you always have to be thinking about after every fight that you guys have won. Like, you have to set up your turrets, and you have to set them up where the enemy's going to come for sure. Like, I mean, it's not always a guarantee, but you have to think, like, what's the most probable place? And you have to do it quick, like, so the turrets are actually set and ready. This is, again, I feel like you maybe honestly don't have sound because you can hear this whole fight's going on down here. 2 ultimates were just used by the red team, and you're kind of, I don't know, looking confused. So this, like I mentioned it with the Bastion, this is a great time to be using that little full charge poke thing I was telling you about. So you're right here, you know, Soldier's over there somewhere. Just go like that. There's nothing he can really do, right? So that's just a good way to put out as much offense as you can anyways, while like absolutely minimizing the amount of damage you can do. I don't know why he ran over there. So again, just try to use your secondary fire for those in the future. And this is another, so she's just standing there, that's Symmetra. She's clueless of your existence. This is when you charge a sneak shot, right? Don't try to set up turrets or anything. Just wham bam. Do her like that. Instead, I mean, nothing really happens. Your enemy Symmetra has left the game. That was fortuitous. So here you're not really contributing anything. Like, it's good to get up here just to set up, but you want to be with your team. And it's just not what you're doing. Again, I mean, I don't expect you to have learned it in the amount of time that you haven't had to listen to me. But try to set up turrets where the team's going to be. Symmetra, Brigitte is like the last person I ever want to 1v1 because, I don't know, she's a mess. She can block this, which is your best chance at killing her, and this can just take too long to actually get going while she's healing and smacking the hell out of you. So try to like just back away and shoot at like her feet, dodging the shield, because the explosion of the orbs will still hit her. But yeah, never, like, I would say never engage. Like, just create as much distance. I would just turn around and teleport her even. And just using my ultimate call out, I think it's not bad, but I would use it, or like I would say the line when you're actually ready to use it. Not like the second you're gonna use it, but like 3 seconds. I didn't think you're gonna use it as early as you did when I said that, but yeah, you don't want to wait like 10 seconds after, because people are waiting on you and then nothing happens and they kind of like, well, she's not going to use it, I guess, and then all of a sudden you use it, right? Don't forget to use teleporter more often. Like, even if you don't use it, just set it up just so you can escape a situation like that if it does. Like, I almost always have teleporter up as soon as it's off cooldown, even if I don't necessarily see a threat. If a threat presents itself, I can then react because I already have a teleporter ready to go. Nothing's down there. This isn't a good teleporter, but like, assuming you wanted to go up on top of that building, it would have been a nice spot because you could have snuck around like you are here. So it'll take me a second to get all the way over there, but another reason, like, this is another good time to use that little teleporter turret trick I was telling you about. But another reason you want to do it is because, like, if you look at the teleporter, it's not ready until like now, once those little blue dots start, or blue little circles are appeared. So like now, so you can have all 3, they're ready, and then you can well, I messed that up, but they're just going to be ready to fire immediately, instead of like what you did where you just kind of like throw them in and it's like now that it's ready to shoot, right? So there's no time at all to react to it, it's just already shooting. But yeah. And remember what I said about shields. Now that they have a Reinhardt, you want to be just shooting that Reinhardt shield, because you'll have infinite ammo as long as that shield's up. It'll charge up your gun. Maybe, like, with that knowledge, you can set up this little base of turrets that you were kind of going for. So that way you're doing a ton of damage, and then someone starts to recognize you and try to deal with you. they run into this death room, and yeah. So this, I mean, okay, I don't know if you're making up your mind here, but so you're setting up turrets, right? But if you're not, charge that right or secondary fire, your L2, and just start slapping them with them. Big balls. Big balls. So again, just run away from Brigitte. I mean, I feel like you accidentally backed into a corner, but she's like the last person I want to see. So this, I don't know if you're aware, you have 10 seconds left. There's of course a Reinhardt here, but what I would do is get around this corner, just put your teleporter down onto the payload and maybe deal with the Reinhardt, but give your team that option to like quickly get there if they need to, because I mean, time is of the essence here. And again, this shield you can charge off of. But what's to be done? What the clang is, this just try to get someone quieter. I know you're trying to hide them. Sorry, I guess I will just quickly restart. Just be a little quicker to get back this way.
Arriving at Watchpoint, Gibraltar.
Fuck ladders. So I know you're trying to no, I missed a bit, but you're trying to like make them sneaky. I don't know. But the thing is, while they are sneaky, they have a giant blue beam shooting out. So anyone from way over here can just shoot it and it gets blown up, right? I would prefer, like, if you're going to put them in these locations, just put it around the corner, because that way you can't shoot it until you're like here, probably, right? Maybe here, but it's just they have to be so much more committed. Like, if they're here, your entire team is shooting at them. They're not going to be like, well, I'll just turn to the left and ready my shot. There we go. Right? They're going to just have to deal with what's in front of them while this is kind of doing their damage, which is also a reason you don't really want, even if this was a little more obscured, you don't want the turrets down here, because they're going to be like hitting your team, which is here, and like if it's a Reinhardt, he's just gonna inadvertently destroy them while he's swinging at everyone else. So you put it like more up here if you wanted to do this corner, which is fine. This way he's not going to be like, I gotta get that. And you just gotta, yeah, you don't want your turrets to be shot because they are pretty fragile, and if they're in a line of sight like that where you can just hit it from a long range, they lose a lot of their effectiveness. So you don't really have a shot at anyone here. Like you can hit this Ryan, but they're all going to be hiding here. Just destroy this turret before it bothers anyone on your team. Stationary won't be hard for you to hit it all with your secondary fire. And I would say, like I said it with D.Va, but in tanks in general, use your primary fire because it's going to take like 5 fully charged orbs, or if we're doing your little pellet shots, it's going to take 30 of them, I think, to kill a Hammond, which is ridiculous. But, so yeah, you want to be using your primary fire instead, just because in the long run, it'll start to do more damage, because after 2 seconds, it does triple damage. So you're doing more damage, plus, like, this requires more aim, right? But if you're trying to aim at someone as big as a giant sphere, it's a lot easier to hit them as they're rolling around, as opposed to like a tracer blinking and whatever. So yeah, I'd say try, like it's not always the case, but try to lean more to using primary fire on tanks, secondary fire on like 200 HP heroes. And have like a little teleporter set up when you do make these engagements, so when it starts to go sour, you can get out. Once again, listen to the sound. Winston was right above you. He's gone now, but another thing to do, like I don't know how aware the enemy's going to be, but your turrets did quite a bit of damage there. So probably someone that just got killed by them, and they killed like 3 people, are going to know your turrets are here, here, and here. Try to just like move them a little so they're not immediately where they get. Because like if I'm playing Hammond, I'm just going to go straight for this turret, shoot it, and then maybe think about, or like I'll roll an in slam, get rid of these turrets, and then I can do something else with my life. Where if they're not there, then I'm not going to destroy them, and I'm going to take like another 100 damage before I realize where you did move them. This is, again, I don't know, I feel like you play too scared a lot of the times. Like I see you just looking over to the right, like, I hope no one's there, kind of thing. Or if you have sound, which I don't know if you do, you'll just know when they're coming. I mean, some people are sneaky about it, but for the most part. And again, like I said at the beginning, this is a dream come true. All this is infinite ammo for you, and ramps up your healing. So you want to play more in the front, like Orissa's dead now, but you'd want to pretty much just hang out with your Orisa all game when you see they have a Ryan and an Orisa on their team. The only thing you have to worry about is Ryan being in your range, because once he starts swinging, he's going to kill you pretty quick, right? So have a teleporter ready to escape, but play pretty frontal against this kind of composition. And when your teleporter, I mean, when your turret does get destroyed and you have 3, just shoot another one, right? Somewhere a little less obvious than that second one you just did into the shield. that Moira didn't just heal herself. And this, your ultimate is an amazing counter to that. Like, as soon as you hear Soldier, like, I don't know if he can hear again, but just Q, look at the floor, protect yourself, because you could hear he's right behind you somewhere. You can probably win the 1v1 if you have your shield, and you, like, you know, do the sidestepping around it. But such is life. Plus, even if you do die, it protects the rest of your team from that ultimate. I mean, you just kind of stood there and got pinned, but I'm not mad at those turrets, right? Like, I like to do that where I use my ultimate and then I kind of line my turrets on the other side because I can't shoot them, right? So this you can just be shooting at to charge your ultimate. That shield you can as well. And you see, like, if you teleported your turrets down, they'd already be ready to go instead of just that Symmetra's turret taking out your two turrets immediately. Again, you're kind of looking at the floor there, right? So again, ignoring the visual cues, you can see Widow is shooting from above. While you might not necessarily want to take that engagement like a 1v1, you should at least look up and understand what's going on. Oh, there we go. Maybe they're bronze. And I'll just say, so I'm sure you know, but there's no headshotting with her secondary fire. It's it does the same damage whether it hits the head or the torso. But what I wanted to point out was that unlike your turrets, as long as that little, like, very center, I think you're here, let me see. Yeah. So as long as this little center white dot isn't hitting anything, your bullet will, okay, well, I hit that wing, but your bullet will just travel right through, right? So you can, because you're kind of aiming up here, like, it looks like you're afraid to hit these things, but you can be a lot more precise with it. Not like the turret, which will just hit everything in its path. Again, you can hear the Widow just landed behind you. Okay, you're on there. Not that it matters too much in that situation, because she's dead girl walking, but when they are like this is like 30 HP, again, just a punch will kill them. get it over a little quicker, in case they'd done something more evasive or whatever, right? So here, I would love this opportunity. Get up with your Orisa, just start melting that shield with your primary fire. Be ready to go. Turn on the microwave. But again, here I just feel like you're playing way too scared. There's nothing over here. And if you are scared about that, like, oh, I accidentally muted you. So if you are scared about someone being up here, just put turrets around, right? And make them just kind of be your eyes, and you can more focus on what's up here. Because, I don't know, you're playing a lot, just back here, make sure no one's coming around. And I mean, you can play that way if you have aggressive turrets, or you can play with defensive turrets and play front line. You don't need to be doing both, right? Sorry, you just heard some screaming. So that Reinhardt's going to be a problem. He definitely is looking to earth shatter your entire team. Or not. That's funny to watch. So, I keep hitting M, sorry. I don't know if you didn't realize what just happened, but there's a giant German man flying behind your team, and you've got a giant shield blocking everyone else. Just turn around and focus that guy, because he is an easy kill, and you can deal with the rest of the team later. Instead, who knows what he's doing? He could be, okay, he's right there, but he could be like right behind you, ready to destroy you. But instead, he's just peachily walks his way back. And again, I shouldn't say and again, but so this Rhine is coming at you. He backs away for some reason, but what you don't want to do is fire a turret at him, because, I mean, for his sake, he'll just swing and hit it accidentally. But, you know, you want to back away from him. So you want to, like, put the turrets where you're going to go, so he gets, like, walks into those, and then you can keep backing away if you need to. Again, Reinhardt is to your right. I'd say those are good, like, when they're stalling, so they're desperately just racing to the point, just setting up turrets on the point like that are very nice, because it gets rid of a lot of their mobility. Like, a Lucio can't dance around the point. Oh, here's you to the right, if I recall. She's not going to look at you, though. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Be happy to review your Mercy gameplay or anything else. Symmetra is one of my best heroes, so I feel comfortable giving advice with her, but sure, I can help you with everything. Definitely turn on sound if you're not playing with sound, and if you are, pay way more attention to it, because I think that's like your biggest thing. See ya.